couple Fridays ago, I get a phone call from a network, and they reach out to me and they said, hi, we got your number from such and such. We would like to talk to you about something. Can you come in today, Friday morning? And I said, I can't. I got my daughter here. I can't come into the city. They said, well, could you do next week? And I said, I could do next week, or I could do a phone call or a Zoom right now if you want. And no, we want you to come in. Could you do Monday at 12? Okay, I'll be there Monday at 12. All right, great. Well, Sunday comes around, Sunday afternoon. I get an email saying that they need to postpone and reschedule the meeting for Tuesday. Okay, fine, whatever. Now I got to just change some plans around, but okay, fine. Tuesday, I work around my other, work stuff and what I got to do. Get up Tuesday, go in, meetings at 12 o'clock. I get in there to the city. Normally I would take the subway, but so I just said, you know what? Instead of trying to figure it out, I'll just take a cab. A cab one way from Penn Station to that thing was like $26. And I sent a photo of the receipt to Jordan. I said, this is what we have to deal with now. And you get the basic meter charge and then all these other charges under that.
So the rate for you was $14.
Oh, you have it.
I have it.
Okay.
They tack on another $2.50 for congestion surcharges. Right. You got the CBD tolls of 75 cents, state surcharge of 50 cents, another $1 for improvement charges, another $3.95 tax tip, whatever. Your total one way from train station to your destination, $23.60.
One way.
1.9 miles.
Yeah. Manhattan is such a fucking crock of shit. So I get over there. I got some time. I get up. I walk up there, meet who I'm supposed to at this network. I go to their office. We're having a meeting, and they know of me. They know of my work and all of stuff. Like I came recommended by other people and what have you. So they wanted to talk to me about this management position that they had. And I was like, oh, that's great. The time that I talked with this guy, I'm going to say 20 minutes. Okay. 18 of those minutes was him telling me about the place, the network, the syndicated programming they have, things that how they run syndication differently for shows that go out on the weekends as opposed to shows that go out during the weekdays, and all of this stuff ties to other syndicators. Like it's a whole bunch of radio company stuff, network company stuff, TV company stuff. Like it's a lot in one place. 2 minutes of it, the last 2 minutes, they start to tell me about the job position. And it's a management position. It's below this guy's level. I'd report to this guy, but then I'd be the next one there, and then other stuff would report to me, other personnel, all of this stuff. Oh, that's great. We're just starting to talk about this, and a knock on the door. Somebody pops their head in. I guess the president of the company and some other higher ups or whatever is there. They're in the conference room. They need this guy to come in to talk about something. I forget exactly what the other guy said, but it's like, we need you to explain it since you were overseeing that. And he goes, right now we're in the middle of something. And they go, yes, now you got to go. And he looks at me and he goes, I'm so sorry. He's like, I'll be a couple minutes. I apologize. I go, okay, it's fine. It happens. He goes off to his meeting. So now I'm sitting there in this office, kind of a glass office. So I can see out the windows down to, the streets of Manhattan. I can see out the office to the hallways. I can see down to where there's studios, the TV studios, the radio studios, all of this stuff. And I want you to guess how long I sat in this guy's office before somebody came to talk to me.
I've been in these kinds of situations. I think at most I've ever waited was like maybe 20 minutes.
Now, you know the answer because I talked to you off air about this.
Shh, don't pull back the curtain too much.
I sat in this person's office for an hour and 30 minutes.
I don't know how you didn't just walk out after.
I was so ready to start kicking shit and knocking stuff off this guy's desk. An hour and a half. Nobody said a word. Nobody came in. I was debating on leaving, but this seemed like a really good opportunity. Mm-hmm. Again, I didn't seek this out. I didn't even know this was available. They contacted somebody else to get my information to contact me and had this whole scenario thing designed, I guess, for me there. So that's the only reason I stayed. Finally, guy comes in and says, I'm so sorry. He's like, we're not even close to being done. I was coming back. He's like, we'll just do a phoner. And I'm staring at this guy, not like with any emotion on my face, but it's the kind of stare that looks like it's piercing somebody's soul. Mm-hmm. And I stuck my hand out and grabbed his hand and shook his hand while not breaking eye contact. And I go, we'll reschedule this. And I took my stuff and I left. I walked out. Now, I'm livid because you made me come all the way back into Manhattan, and they're not an easy place in Manhattan to get to. It's rather a fucking pain in the ass to get to this place. I go in there. I was nothing but courteous. I barely even said anything. That guy was just talking for 20 minutes about all the different levels of operations and stuff they got going on. Less than 2 minutes about what my job was actually going to be that they were going to pitch me before he got yanked out. And I sat there for an hour and a half. So I'm leaving. I talked to a couple people, one of them being Jordan, because I was so pissed about this. And then
to get it out.
And then I sent you another, or told you about the cab ride back being equally expensive.
Well, originally what had happened was you were like so livid about it. You're like, do you have a minute to talk? I'm in the cab on the way back to the train station. You didn't even want to like get settled. You were like, you need to call, or I need to call you. We got to talk. And I was like, well, I just finished up something. Let's go ahead and get it. Enough time happened between your message and when we actually talked is that, yes, you had another fun cab ride from where you were to the train station.
Right. I get back on the train. I get to my car. I go home. I'm waiting for end of business day because I'm like, I'm going to have to hear from this guy at some point.
Hold on. Before we go that far, let's go back. Okay. What happened in the cab? Because this was another incident that just threw more gasoline on
the
this
cab driver almost ran into another car.
It was that, and then at the end of the ride, when you had to pay, you didn't do something, and he was not too happy about it.
Oh, yeah, because he almost hit another car. Right. He wasn't paying attention and slammed on his brakes, and I went forward, almost hitting that bulletproof plastic divider that they had there, and I had my hands up. And I go, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, sorry. He's like, he waves it off like no big deal. We're this close to the other car. I swear I thought we hit the other car, but we didn't.
You were telling me I think he was on his phone.
Yeah, there was that. And then we a couple blocks away from there, we're at Penn Station. He drops me off. And I'm like, the tip thing, I'm not tipping you. You weren't even paying attention. You almost got us into an accident. So I get up and leave. And that guy wasn't happy. And I didn't give a fuck about that. All right, so now I'm home. I wait till end of business day. I get no text. I get no emails. Nothing. Again, this guy or this company got my personal information off somebody else because that person contacted me and said, hey, such and such at this company asked for your information. I didn't think it would be a problem if I gave him, your phone number. And I said, no, that's fine. I understand. And he's like, oh, let me know what happens on that. Yeah, absolutely. I will. Well, I didn't call that person. I didn't tell them because I don't know what's going on here. End of business day, 5:30-ish, right? Nothing. No email, no text. I'm livid. I'm just sitting there silently stewing on this. I go, what the fuck was that all about? Like, that was blatant disrespect to why. And again, it wasn't me tracking them down and trying to force a job interview that I wore them down to come in there and do that. I didn't know this was even a thing. They reached out to me. They told me it was important for me to come into the city to meet with everybody in person. I didn't meet with everybody. I met with one person and then sat in an office by myself for an hour and a half. So next day comes around. I get up in the morning, no email, no missed call, no text, no nothing. I wait till about midday. And I, text and email at the same time to this guy and said, hey, don't really understand what happened yesterday, but I understand things happen. Please let me know when we can continue our talk.
Because this was a conversation you and I had, and we kind of went back and forth on whether or not you should be the one to reach out to them.
I wasn't going to, but I was advised by a couple people that
right.
It's like, don't say anything, because my instinct was ready to deal with this, and I didn't. And I was still on the fence on whether or not you should have been the one to reach out to them. Like, my thing was like, look, at this point, they were courting you. They screwed you over. Wait for them. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I told you, I am not doing this. They can contact me. after this bullshit. But one of the consultants that that we deal with told me what to do, and that I waited the right amount of time that I should just send something courteous over.
Sure.
I did not want to, but that's why I have people around me to advise me on some other things. Okay.
Cowboy courteous over here.
And then that could be hold on, let me write that down too. That's why I have people around me for that. So, the consultant that I was speaking with was advising me what to do. The guy who manages my stuff here called him. That was on a Tuesday. Wednesday, midday, I send that email and that text. Still hear nothing. Thursday comes around. I'm like, fuck them all. But the person who gave them my phone number asked, hey, so what happened with that? And I said, I don't think this is going to happen. Really? Why not? And I send the full explanation. The response back, what? That's terrible. What a lack of professionalism and respect. I'm sorry to hear this. Not this person's fault.
Right.
Time goes by. Couple weeks goes by. I don't hear from them. Now, in between this time here, the manager guy I got for it, not Hollywood agent Rob Stark, but a different person. They were away on vacation. It was the last week of August with the family and everything. And he said, "Can we revisit this right after Labor Day? And I want to hear everything." Yes, that's fine. So after Labor Day comes around, I go on a conference call. I'm talking with them, and I'm explaining the whole thing. And he's just staring at me, and he's not making any expression. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling the story, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, did I do something wrong? I didn't say anything. Like, there was no way I could think I did anything wrong. He's leaning back. This is such a fucking genius corporate power move. Just sitting back like this, listening. It looks like they're disinterested, right? And I get so this doesn't work for the radio people, but I'll try to describe it. He's back like this, just sitting there listening. Doesn't say anything. Leans over slowly like this, and he goes, "Let me tell you a story." Now, I know this is bad because he's now telling me a story after me telling him the story. He's like, "Your story's worse than mine." He's like, "There's no way I would have sat there for an hour and a half like that." And he goes, "But you did." And he goes, "And then you never heard back from them?" No. And I said, "Do you think this is where I tag you in?" I'm like, "Do you make the phone call over there now?" Because he only comes in if there's deals being made, right? He doesn't do the other stuff. And I go, "Is this something where you step in?" And he goes, "To be honest with you," and he goes, "I don't." He's like, "Why would you even want to work there now after this?" I said, "No, not really. But if the money is as good as I thought it was going to be, I'd have to at least entertain it." So we're talking for a little bit, and he advised me, he's like, "I think you should, this is just a story that you have to let it go and then move on from this, and you're probably better off." Okay, fine. But that's not enough for me. I got to talk to people, whose opinions I value and I trust. You're one of them, family members, etc. And I bounced it through a few other people, and I was getting similar answers to handling this situation. And then I forgot about it. Like I managed to just let it go and moved on and was doing other things. I was, my kid just started school, the school year, was doing a bunch of other stuff. So I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. It took me several days to get that out of me, because a less level-headed person would have been throwing shit and punching stuff and screaming or whatever like that. But I was focusing it inward, and I was just, what you're waiting for Bruce Banner to change into the Hulk. I finally let it go. This week.
Of all weeks.
Tuesday, I get an email. Listen to how casual this sounds. "Hey, Erik, I'm so sorry. Let's please connect tomorrow afternoon. Call me at 1 p.m. From that company, from that network, from the guy.
Me, by the way.
Huh?
Like, call me. Not, "Hey, let's schedule something. I'll give you a call."
Yeah.
You call me.
Yeah.
You do the work. This is the most effort I'm putting into this.
They ghosted me, to coin a phrase, while in the middle of the interview that they asked me to come and have with them.
Correct.
Once again, I did not initiate any of this. I did not reach out to them. Nothing. They sought me out. This is like 2-3 weeks after the incident happened. Wow. No sense of remorse. No sense of any kind of courtesy in this thing. So let's skip to Wednesday of this week. 1 o'clock was when I was told to call. They should be calling me, but I called at 1 o'clock. I get voicemail. I leave a voicemail. I went, "Hey, Eric Nagel here, per your email, to call you at 1 p.m. Call me back. 2:04, I get a text message from the guy. Hey, Eric, call you right now. 6 more minutes go by.
Hey, Eric, you up?
Yeah. 6 more minutes go by. I'm beyond flabbergasted on this. I just send back a question mark. A minute later, the guy calls. Hey, Eric, where'd you go? What's going on? How you doing? You said to call. I cut him off. I'm not doing small talk with this guy. I said, you said to call. Oh, yeah. I'm going to try. It's the best that I can recall this. I'm going to speak in his cadence as how he said this to me. Oh, yeah. Well, first off, sorry about, what happened there. That's unprofessional. That's totally on me. Number 2, and I went, he's now moved on to number 2. That was not an apology. There was nothing sincere about that. Already, I'm like, again, is it fuck this guy again the second time with this? That you're being disrespectful again with this? Oh yeah, that's on me. Second of all, I know we called you in for that job that we had for you and everything. Well, unfortunately, we decided to keep the guy that was already in that position. Which, by the way, they were shit talking that guy 6 ways to Sunday, to coin a phrase. While I was in that meeting, saying this guy was a mistake, he was terrible at what he was doing here. That's why they heard it. I was available. They would like to talk to me about doing some of this stuff. And I'll give you at least the genre. It's talk programming. This network has a bunch of different talk shows and stuff like that. So that's what they were bringing me in for. We decided to keep that. And he goes, but yeah, we didn't come to that decision till yesterday. And I went, well, that's convenient. And he goes, what? I go, oh, I get an email from you yesterday when you decided that you're keeping this guy. That's convenient. I'm about ready to say, what was the point of calling you, right?
I'm wondering if he had sent that email before they made that decision or after.
I have no idea, nor do I care. Because number 3, he goes, third, yeah, we have something, on the weekends overseeing shows and stuff like that. It's a part-time thing. I don't know if you'd be interested in, and I hit the hang up button. Now, normally I wouldn't be. I think I was beyond professional all the way up to this point. I really was biting my tongue and being, because it's business. You got to separate personal from business, right? But I think I was beyond professional up until that point. That you were offering me this pretty high level management position at first. Now to tell me, oh yeah, we're not doing that, but there's a part-time weekend position managing shows?
Yeah, there's no reason.
And guess what? I didn't get a text. I didn't get an email. I will never be reaching out to them again. I have calls tomorrow with my management stuff to talk to them and tell them what was going on. Because I want this guy's name out there, not publicly, but I want this situation out there within industry circles about how this person has handled all of this stuff. A lot of industries, people are getting fucked over by not. A lot. I mean, there's countless news stories. You can go online and read them. You can watch CBS and NBC and all that stuff and see these pieces. The majority of the people out there trying to apply for jobs don't get a response. They don't get a confirmation. They don't even get a rejection. It's all walks of life, not just like the media and the entertainment industry. All walks of life. Everyone's getting the same bullshit thing. And the fucking gall that companies have now, where if they got to get somebody into a position, it's like, well, we got to get the person left who was doing that job. We got to get somebody in there. Okay, well, that job's only worth $45,000. But that's not what we were paying the other guy. I know, but that's what we're paying for this job now. No one's going to take that. It doesn't matter. You could be grossly underqualified or overqualified. It doesn't matter. They just view as that job is only worth the amount that we're saying. I don't care what body's in there. It used to be, well, this is what we're looking to pay for that job, but depending on the candidate or who's available, and you go, oh my God, we could get that person to come in here, then you make concessions. You negotiate. They don't even do that anymore. At least not to, unless you're at a super high level, they don't do it. They're just like, well, that job's worth this. Either you take it or you don't, somebody else will. And if they don't, here's the third part to it. And I've heard these stories too. It's still getting done. We don't know who's covering it, but the job's still getting done. So we're not in a rush to fill that position, if we will at all, because somebody's doing the job. So as long as it keeps getting done, we have no problem. And the people who are doing all these other jobs, again, doesn't matter what industry, are doing these jobs because they're afraid they're going to lose their job if they don't do all that extra work for no pay, no compensation.
Right.
That's how everyone's being treated right now. There's only so much that I'm willing to take, and I think I took way more than I should have for this scenario.
Right.
But again, I'm being professional. I don't want it out there that, oh, he's terrible to work with. Oh, that he's difficult in whatever. On air, I could give two fucks what you think about our on-air content. You know, if you want to judge me based on O&A, you want to judge me based on the stuff we do here, you want to judge me based on any of the other properties I used to work with. That's one thing. That's entertainment. You can't judge, well, he was on that shitty TV show, so we can't hire him for this movie. That's not how it works. But if you hear behind the scenes, he was terrible to work with on that television show, and it's like, why would we bring him to our movie set if he's that difficult and he's known in those circles for being difficult? That's the stuff that's important. I have a great reputation within the business for a lot of things. And I've helped out other people who were way more successful than me. And I've helped out a lot of people that were not as successful as me. But I'm known for a bit of a fixer. If they need to come in, if people lose their radio jobs and they got to set up a foundation to do their podcast, their live streaming, their subscription-based, Jordan knows the stories of all that stuff there. They hire me to set everything up. And if they want to keep me on after they're sufficient, then that's great. If not, that's fine. I did my job. You paid me for what it was. What am I supposed to do here at this point? I'll never work for that company unless something drastically changes. Because here's something else that I forgot to mention. I had discussions with people in the business and in these situations. And they said, well, if they come around, they're offering you a job, are you going to take it? I said, well, not at the salary that they're going to offer. Well, what if they offer, if it's this amount here? And I go, that's fine. That's still not sufficient. Well, you're going to ask for more? I said, no. I said, whatever, if the salary is worth taking, right? I said, okay, but how are you going to make this right? Excuse me? That's what you want to offer? Okay, that doesn't sound bad, but what are you going to do on top of that? That's going to be the point that determines where we go forward or not. You need to compensate me for all this bullshit because I am not going into a position like that where if I took that job, they know, that shit we did before he even started here? We can do that to him now. That sets a very bad precedent.
I was going to say, I think both Rob and I, after the first incident where you waited in the office, we both said, look, whatever they're going to offer you, add X percent.
Oh yeah,
add more.
And then my manager said the same thing. He's like, "Well, we'd have to negotiate at that point." I go, "Oh yeah, we are." I'm like, because it could be a good six-figure salary, but that's not going to be good. What are you going to do on top of that? What? Mm-hmm. Well, you got to. It's not even. It's not fair. What perks are you going to give me for fucking me over before I even had the job? It's another thing if I got screwed over while working at the company. You have heard those stories.
Yeah, everyone's been through it.
You're not doing that to me before I sign a contract to come in. So if this is what you were going to offer, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, like make me want to work for you.
Yeah, what are you going to do to make this even? Because we can come to an agreement on something professionally. All right. We're now going to sign this contract, and we'll start with a clean record, a level playing field, and go on from there. But not before.
No.
But I don't think that's even that's happening now because the second he's like, well, we have a part-time thing. You were considering me for upper management on something, and now you're like, oh, do you want to do a part-time thing? No.
Here's their scraps.
No, thank you. That's what it is. I don't know who they're going to fill out. I wish I knew the person who currently has the job right now. So I could just reach out and tell them and go, hey, guess what they did during the 2 weeks you were off on family vacation at the end of the summer. I'm not going to seek them out. I'm not petty like that. But if I had known at the time, I'd be hovering over finding his Facebook profile and sending him a message and just saying, hey, guess what they were doing while you were away for the last 2 weeks. Needless to say, I'm not working there. I'm not taking their thing and their job or whatever. If that job was even really there to begin with, because none of this story makes sense at all. None of it. I've told everybody that needed to know. The first is like, well, did you say something? Were you giving a look? I said, I sat there listening. I know how to listen. I sat there and listened to what their presentation was. They barely even got to it before all this happened. Mm-hmm. And then that phone call just confirmed that this guy is an utter moron. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, that's unprofessional. That's on me. Second of all, wow, dude, you do not. I mean, maybe he does have a future for being that terrible as a person doing his job. I don't know. I don't know the guy personally. He seemed nice, but he also seems now incompetent. Mm-hmm. No personal skills, no people skills, no anything. And that place does need help, by the way. They're doing okay. They're not doing terrible. They're doing okay. But I monitored a lot of their stuff, and I went, oh my God. I was making notes and notes. I'm like, we can improve this. We could change this around. And being put in that position would allow me to start changing things. Obviously,
like,
I
got ideas. You open up a sack full of Post-it notes and then you slap them on the desk.
Yeah, it's just like, here you go. Here's all my ideas. Here's what we can do to improve, sales revenue and advertising and streaming and all of that shit.
It's Erik Nagel. Follow the show on all social medias at It's Erik Nagel for ways to watch or listen to the show, both live and on demand. Go to itseriknagel.com.